With one Eagles practice in the books, which player stood out the most? What did Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox have to say about Jalen Carter? Plus, did Howie Roseman reveal plans to add a veteran linebacker? And a whole lot more storylines from camp. But first, let's run it. Hey guys, alright, so live action practices are back with media access being granted, and I think now is when we can say football is officially back. Remember right as OTAs were ending that head coach Nick Sirianni told the guys to show up in the best freakish shape of their lives? So obviously Milton Williams took that to heart, but so did everyone else apparently, with Sirianni saying every player passed the conditioning test, and no one would start on the physically unable to perform puppy list. Great news, everyone's healthy, no injuries to deal with on the roster. Wait, okay, so although the PUP list is legitimately clean, it was announced that Haason Reddick wouldn't practice because of a groin injury.
No! God, please, no!
You can relax though, because the Eagles All-Pro is expected to be back this weekend. But the silver lining in all of this is that the rookie Nolan Smith got a chance to showcase his ability with the first team. More on that in a second. The other notable injury updates to mention are that Derek Barnett was limited but at least had some action, which I'd take as a positive since he's coming back from the torn ACL he suffered last year in week 1. Another guy in limited action was Avonte Maddox with a toe, still promising to see him out there with the rest of the team. Although one wide receiver hoping to make the roster isn't starting off on the right foot, with Devin Allen being placed on the active NFI list. In case you're not sure what the NFI list is, it's basically just used for players who get injured outside of football-related activities. So Allen remains a member on the roster, and he can return at any time. However, talking about the receiver group, that room is getting a little crowded, with the Birds now having 12 pass catchers on the roster, thanks to signing Deon Cain back to the team after working out other guys like former first-round pick N'Keal Harry and XFL wideout Javonte Payton. I'm interested to see if Cain, who's had multiple stints with Philly, can finally stick. But the USFL Championship MVP went with the number 39 now? I don't know, man. That doesn't look promising. It's just a number, isn't it?
No, it's not.
The other recent signing, offensive tackle Dennis Kelly, has officially gone with 72. That seems much more appropriate for his position. Anyway, back to camp. The Eagles took the field, and I know it's just a couple days into it, but can I just say I am over the moon thankful that football is back. The Birds began with some warm-ups, separating position groups, with DeVonta Smith making a nice grab on the sideline. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't have been a catch, in case Tim McManus wanted to know my thoughts. Yeah, no, definitely out of bounds. Still can't get enough of the toe drag footage though. It was also cool to hear Smitty talk about similarities between Nick Saban and Nick Sirianni, sharing on WIP that both coaches are demanding and expect you to play a high level of football, but Sirianni will laugh and joke with you, whereas Saban is a little more serious. Unfortunately for the Birds, they got a dose of an angry Sirianni pretty much as soon as camp started.
He's an angry elf.
Well, Hurts being sacked on the first 2 plays of 11-on-11s didn't help, and left Sirianni yelling expletives at the first team offense before resetting to try again. Thankfully, things picked up because, depending on who you ask, Jalen ended up right around 7 for 11 with 2 touchdowns and 3 running plays. Although, according to Jalen Hurts tracker Evan Macy, the play calling was admittedly very conservative as the team got its feet wet, but there wasn't a ton to feel really good about after the first 20 plays of training camp. Oh, come on, it's early, you're not really concerned about this, right? Alright, maybe a little bit. Since most media members did allude to a bevy of penalties, missed throws, and just flat out mistakes on offense. Okay, so it wasn't their best effort, but like Macy said, it's only day 1, so no need to overreact. At the same time, Jalen even emphasized the importance of finding the team's identity.
Understand that things have to happen for you to move forward, and if you fail, you want to fail forward. We know where our goals are. But it's a day-by-day process in that, and that's why times like this time of the year is very important for the foundation of what the team will be. So we just want to continue to go out there and compete. I'm excited to compete together every day to make each other better.
He also went on to say that he's embracing the uniqueness of his game, being the triple threat that he is with his football IQ, ability to make throws, and cause problems on the ground. Speaking of the ground game, Sirianni referenced before practice that all RBs would split time, which was followed by Rashad Penny starting with the first team before each back rotated to get their opportunity with the ones. Of the noteworthy plays, Kenny Gainwell did a nice job shaking free of a defensive back for a touchdown pass, From Hurts in 7-on-7s, DeAndre Swift caught several passes while being deployed in a variety of ways, lining up outside and motioning into the slot, and was primarily a pass catcher in the offense. And then Fran Duffy also mentioned Boston Scott, who drew some oohs and ahs from the crowd in attendance as he navigated through traffic on an inside run, burst outside and made a corner miss in the flat on his way to pay dirt. Oh yeah, and Elliott Shore-Parks also shared that Trey Sermon had a good day, and now it'll be really tough to cut him.
He's good. With my help, he could be the best.
I'm not sure what qualifies as good day, but one area that's a little more certain is the defensive line, who certainly won the day by fake sacking Jalen Hurts 6 times out of 16 reps, serving as a reminder what Sean Desai plans to do to opposing quarterbacks.
You got to impact the quarterback, and our philosophy is we got to impact them physically and mentally. One of them's not going to be good enough.
One of the biggest reasons the D won was because of Jalen Carter, who got a lot of praise from the core 4.
The core 4, is that all the old guys?
Yeah, the vets were high on him, with Kelce recalling a rep in the last red zone period saying he felt him make a drastic inside move, referencing the insane natural strength of the rook, and the O-line are definitely talking about him. So Kelce will be interested to look at the tape and continue watching him. However, the All-Pro did make sure to insert a disclaimer saying that it's the first day of camp and that first impressions aren't always the end-all be-all. Yet I think it's telling, because let's not forget, Kelce went on the Green Lights podcast with Chris Long back in May saying, "I saw him on his top 30 visit and shook his hand. It was like shaking a big meat paw bare hand." I'm not exactly sure what that is. However, Kelce described JC as a muscle-bound, mature, physical-looking guy who looks ready to play right away. I don't think many of us doubted Jalen's ability to come in and play right away, but with massive expectations, Fletcher Cox can certainly relate.
I mean, I've been in his position. I've been, drafted in the first round. You expect a lot. But the biggest thing is to get in and learn. Learn the defense. Learning how to practice as a pro. Learning, just the new environment of being around. Having to, deal with a lot of media and let go of the distractions. But overall, he's gonna be a really good player for us.
He's gonna be phenomenal. Remember when several scouts and media doubted Jalen's work ethic and motivation? They're probably all getting really nervous right about now, because the bread man has extra motivation when he found out Madden rated Bijan Robinson higher than him, saying, "I saw Bijan Robinson get an 81 and he's the highest rated rookie. I'm a 79. I'm gonna be chill, but I wish I was the highest rated." I don't think it's gonna be long before Madden updates those ratings, especially if he keeps up the BG impressing work ethic at camp.
Them boys work. They know how to work. I'll say that.
For full context, Graham was referencing all the Philly dogs, and Fletch was also impressed by the second-year Jordan Davis since he's healthy, flying around, and you can definitely feel his presence. Cox said he expects to see a jump from JD in his second year now that he's finally healthy and has done a great job with his conditioning. That was bad news for QB2 Marcus Mariota, unfortunately, who had an awful day getting stonewalled by Carter on a 4th and goal snap and fumbled the ball while trying to escape pressure from Nolan Smith.
I'm very scared of you.
To be fair, that's a pretty scary thought of having Nolan chasing you. And Superman, as I'm going to continue calling him, had a ridiculously good day. The rookie edge rusher started off by beating Jack Driscoll on back-to-back plays with constant praise for his speed and quickness, which he then followed up putting tight end Brady Russell in the dirt, we'll call it a sack according to Victor Williams, and then got pressure on Mariota again, causing him to throw an INT. And as Fran Duffy said, there are a couple things that stand out while watching him. First, his athleticism, because he's an extremely fluid mover who's fast off the ball and really easy and smooth in transition. Second, his hands are violent, heavy, and purposeful on contact. And lastly, his effort is freaking otherworldly. Sorry, I added that last part. Although numerous times Smith was chasing plays to the flat along the sideline, so it's a no-brainer that he's always going to be around the football. Also, that interception I mentioned a second ago was picked off by none other than my dark horse linebacker candidate, Christian Ellis. I know, he's got to do it in preseason and more meaningful instances, but I like the fact that he's obviously got a surprising ability to get to the football, or else he wouldn't be getting all these INTs. Although, the flip side of that argument is what Howie Roseman said when asked about the current status of linebackers on the roster.
We got a lot of young players at that position. We're excited to see those guys, evaluate them on a daily basis, and again, like anything, we'll keep our options open. We're never going to close the door on an opportunity to improve our team. So we'll constantly be looking at that position and every position.
What do you make of his comments? I still don't think that means we're for sure going to deal for another linebacker, but yes, if the guys here don't perform or aren't up to standard, I think we'll trust Howie to get something done. With that being said, it was a rough day overall for Mariota and the O, who could probably use some water ice courtesy of rookie Sidney Brown right about now. Unfortunately, we didn't get to hear much about Brown on day one, with incumbent starters Reed Blankenship and Terrell Edmunds having solid days, although it was a different member of the secondary who got the unofficial official game ball of day one in cornerback James Bradbury, with CBS Sports' Jeff Kerr admitting the All-Pro had an impressive camp last year, but that was one of the best practices he's seen him have. I wonder why that is. Could it be the fact that somehow APJB was left off the NFL Top 100 list? In case you missed it, Bradbury was left off and ranked apparently number 107 despite winning an All-Pro award last year.
That's ridiculous.
Maybe it's just one day of camp, or maybe he's really motivated to show people how good he is. What say you? The other area to mention is right guard, where Cam Jurgens was unsurprisingly announced on the first team, so he'll get the first chance at the starting role. We didn't really hear much about any feedback from day one, but Kelce remained confident in Jurgens' ability there.
He's getting used to a guard that he's never played before, not even in college. But he has a tremendous skill set, and I think for his first day, he looked great.
Again, it's a really small sample size and super early, so who knows how this plays out. What do you guys think, though? What are you buying and selling after day one? Let's also mention the special teams focus with the punting battle ongoing, and it was rumored rookie Ty Zentner hit a couple beauties while working on some coffin corner. Also worth noting, Britton Covey, the primary punt returner last season, was fielding punts along with Greg Ward, Quez Watkins, and Olamide Zaccheaus. I'm interested to see who wins out. The Eagles are back in action tomorrow, so more camp battles and overreactions to see who can grab a roster spot. This has been the Philly Special.